We witnessed a $5.35 million agreement, a spectacular victory for Lars Nootbaar against the Cardinals' notoriously hardball negotiating tactics, ending the bitter back and forth of the winter. But what the cameras missed was the quiet, agonizing moment in the rehabilitation room where Nootbaar realized securing that massive contract meant giving up the one thing he perhaps cherished most: the immediate high-probability chance to don the uniform of Samurai Japan again.
Welcome back to 601 Daily News, where we dissect the money moves that shape Major League Baseball, especially when those dollars hit the emotional core of players connected to the transcendent pressure and cultural expectation of Japanese baseball. This resolution is less a simple contract signing and more an exorcism of demons that have plagued him since last season. Remember the sheer turmoil of that arbitration process? It wasn't just about the money, it was about respect.
The gap felt personal, the player's side asking for $2.95 million, the team offering $2.45 million, a difference of $500,000, roughly 78 million Japanese yen, which seems negligible for an MLB franchise, but represented a chasm in valuation perception. Lars Nootbaar had to endure the incredibly uncomfortable scenario of the Cardinals organization essentially arguing against his worth in a private hearing, meticulously detailing his flaws to save $500,000.
As Kenji Ito, a veteran baseball analyst based in Tokyo, put it, that kind of negotiation scars a player. It forces them to enter the season feeling undervalued and mentally unsettled. You can't put a price on the psychological cost of having to fight your employer publicly just before opening day. That dark chapter is now emphatically closed. This new agreement, a colossal jump of $2.4 million from his previous earnings, secures him $5 million.
$35 million, entirely avoiding the deadline drama and providing the immediate, necessary mental ballast he needs. However, we must shift our focus from the celebration of the massive financial gain to the reality of the physical debt he's paying. This is where the sharp argumentation is required, because if you look only at the surface numbers from last season, a disappointing .234 average, an OPS of
686, you hear the chorus of casual critics shouting, "He struggled in crucial spots. He had too many no-hit games. Why the massive raise?" That's the wrong question entirely. The proper question is, what price do you put on essential, irreplaceable team infrastructure? Nootbaar's raise wasn't based solely on offense. It was the recognition of his holistic value.
His defensive metrics, particularly his outfield jump and catch probability, placed him consistently in the 85th percentile across the league. He logs miles in the outfield that few others can cover, and while his average dipped, his ability to grind out at bats and handle the pressure of the Cardinals lineup meant that his WAR remained sturdy enough to command this raise, especially when considering the addition factor of the market correction from last year's underpayment. The Cardinals are paying for reliability, passion, and, crucially, a player who shows up for 135 games, leading the team in appearances. As a hypothetical Cardinals front office source might say, we're not just paying for last year's average, we're paying for his presence. Nootbaar is the engine room of the clubhouse. You don't calculate the price of the engine based on one mediocre output run. This raise is a statement. They view him as a foundational piece for the immediate future.
Now, let's turn to the devastating pivot, the physical recovery. The contract is finalized, but the man is rehabilitating from surgery on both feet. This isn't a minor ligament strain. This is foundational maintenance on the very apparatus that allows him to execute his elite defense and run the bases aggressively.
The fact that this surgery occurred in the off-season, requiring intense rehab during the period when international tournaments like the WBC would be on the horizon, introduces our central conflict and subsequent climax. The emotional weight of potentially missing the opportunity to play for Samurai Japan again, a role that catapulted him into international superstardom and cemented his bond with millions of Japanese fans, is immense. For a player who thrives on that collective energy, sacrificing that chance for the sake of a healthy, full MLB season feels like a paradox. This surgery, though necessary for his longevity, is the unavoidable plot twist in his story this year.
He has chosen the long-term commitment to St. Louis, the team that just paid him $5.35 million, over the short-term glory of the national team. While disappointing for fans, it is the definition of professional maturity. The mental peace gained from the signed contract allows him to dedicate his entire focus to recovery without the stress of an impending deadline or a contract fight. This massive financial vote of confidence now places an equal, perhaps greater, burden of expectation on his shoulders. He must return fully healthy and deliver a career-defining season, especially after the dip in his 2023 offensive output.
Akira Tanaka, an avid baseball writer from Osaka, articulates the dream best. That money, 840 million yen, that's the measure of the American dream realized. Every NPB player watching him knows that. Nootbaar achieved the financial certainty. Now he must prove that the weight of the dollar does not crush the spirit of the player. If he returns from surgery and hits 20 home runs with that signature defensive aggression, that will be the true validation.
The scrutiny on his gait, his speed, and his power when he steps back onto the field will be microscopic. Can he regain the sparkle and aggressive flair that defined his 2022 performance and his electric WBC run? The final word is this: Lars Nootbaar has secured his future and achieved the mental freedom necessary to compete at the highest level. The physical challenge of returning from bilateral foot surgery is enormous, but with the contract stress eliminated, his focus is singular.
His trajectory for the 2024 season is either a monumental vindication of the Cardinals' investment or a cautionary tale of a player struggling to find form post-surgery. That $5.35 million isn't just money, it's a statement of faith, and Nootbaar now carries the heavy responsibility of repaying that belief with unparalleled effort and production. The stage is set for a dramatic comeback. What do you, the fans, think?
Considering the necessary foot surgery and the massive pay raise, which factor, the mental piece of the contract or the physical challenge of rehab, will ultimately define Lars Nootbaar's 2024 season? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the business and passion of baseball, make sure to like, share this video, and hit that subscribe button for 601 Daily News. We track every pitch, every dollar, and every story that matters in the world of professional baseball.